Have you ever looked into a jungle and wondered how many eyes are watching you that you'll never see? Welcome to the Philippines, a tropical island nation in Southeast Asia, made up of over 7,000 islands scattered like emeralds across the Pacific. A place where ancient rainforests still cling to mountain slopes, and life hides in every corner, especially the feathered kind. The Philippines is home to some of the rarest and most otherworldly birds on Earth. We're talking sky hunters the size of eagles, forest jewels that shimmer in blues and golds, and nighttime creatures with eyes that reflect like ghosts. In this video, we're heading into the island forests, across Luzon, Mindanao, Samar, and beyond, to meet 15 birds you probably didn't know existed, and definitely won't forget once you've seen them. Some are bold, some are tiny, some are so strange they seem stitched together from different species. But all of them are real, endangered, and clinging to the last wild places of the Philippines. So grab your flashlight, follow the calls in the dark, and get ready to meet the rare spirits of a forest that's still keeping secrets. This is Birds of the Philippines, 15 endangered spirits of the island forests. The king of the jungle. And he doesn't roar, he stares. Deep in the rainforest canopies of the Philippines, where mist coils around ancient trees and waterfalls crash into silence, a massive shadow moves between the branches. This is the Philippine Eagle, one of the largest, rarest, and most powerful birds of prey in the world. It's found only in the Philippines, on the islands of Luzon, Samar, Leyte, and Mindanao, and it's so rare that even lifelong locals have never seen one in the wild. With a wingspan stretching over 7 feet, massive claws, and fierce gray eyes that seem to see through you, this eagle doesn't just fly through the forest, it commands it. Nicknamed the monkey-eating eagle, this apex predator hunts flying lemurs, civets, snakes, lizards, and yes, monkeys too. It's built for tight maneuvering through thick jungle, with broad wings and a tail like a rudder, letting it twist and turn between trees with deadly precision. Its feathered crown flares when it's alert, giving it a wild, lion-like silhouette and making it look like a creature straight out of a myth. But here's the truth. This king is in danger. With fewer than 400 individuals left in the wild, habitat loss is pushing it closer to extinction each year. It needs up to 25 square miles of untouched forest just to survive. And in an archipelago under pressure, that space is running out. Fun fact, Philippine eagles mate for life, raising just one chick every 2 years. They're not just rare, they're slow, devoted parents. And maybe, just maybe, that makes them even more worth saving. Blink, and you'll miss it. But that flash of electric blue, unforgettable. If the Philippine eagle is the king of the skies, this next bird is the ninja of the creeks. Meet the Blueeared Kingfisher, a tiny, lightning-fast hunter that lives near shaded jungle streams across the Philippines. It's only about 6 inches long, but it doesn't need size to impress. It just needs color and speed. Its feathers shimmer like they were plugged into a neon light, deep cobalt blue on the back and crown, a rich orange chest, and a splash of bright blue behind the eyes, its signature ear. Perched low on riverbank branches, it sits completely still, then suddenly explodes into motion. A streak of blue, a silent dive, a splash, and then fish gone. This bird is all about precision. Its dagger-like bill is built for stabbing tiny fish, and its eyes are so finely tuned, they can correct for the refraction of water, meaning it sees exactly where the fish really are, not just where they appear to be. It doesn't sing, it doesn't show off, it just strikes, fast, silent, perfect. Fun fact, despite its stunning looks, the blue-eared kingfisher builds its nest underground. It digs a tunnel into muddy stream banks, sometimes up to 3 feet long, ending in a dark chamber where it lays eggs in total secrecy. So yeah, this neon hunter, also a master of mud architecture. It doesn't fly through the canopy, it walks quietly with a wound on its chest. Most doves coo softly and flutter through open skies, But not this one. The Luzon bleeding heart is a dove that lives low, very low, spending nearly its whole life walking along the forest floor of Luzon, the largest island in the Philippines. At first glance, it looks soft and unassuming, creamy white belly, slate gray wings, a round pigeon-like body. But then you see it, a deep red patch on its chest. So vivid, it looks like the bird has been shot. That marking is what gives the bird its name, a bleeding heart. Poetic, haunting, unforgettable. But this isn't just a visual trick. Scientists believe the red patch may be used for courtship displays or to signal territory, though no one knows for sure. Why? Because it's incredibly hard to observe. This dove doesn't fly unless it has to. It walks, glides between roots and fallen leaves, disappearing into shadows. It's so quiet that it can be just feet away and you'll never know it's there. And that's a problem, because this beautiful ghost-like bird is critically endangered. Its home, lowland forest, is being destroyed at alarming rates, and the Luzon bleeding heart may vanish before most people even know it exists. Fun fact, when threatened, instead of flying away, this dove will freeze in place, blending into the leaf litter so perfectly that even experienced researchers sometimes step right past it. It's not just rare, it's a master of disappearing. Color like candy, a call like a flute, and you'll almost never see it coming. If you ever find yourself in a dense forest on a Philippine island, Luzon, Samar, maybe Mindoro, and you hear a soft, whistling call that sounds like a bamboo flute, stop, look up, because something truly magical might be watching you. Meet the Philippine Trogan, a striking bird with colors so bold, you'd think it belongs in a children's book. The male has a bright carmine red belly, icy chestnut brown back, black and white wings, and a face masked in blue-green skin around the eyes, like a tropical superhero. But despite the paint job, this bird is a master of stealth. It perches quietly in the mid-canopy, barely moving, blending into shafts of light and shadow like a brushstroke in the forest. It's an insect hunter, catching beetles, caterpillars, and sometimes small lizards right from tree trunks. And instead of flying far, it moves in short, silent hops. Always staying just out of reach. The Trogan's song, a soft, slow, woo, 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 echoing through the trees like an old bamboo flute, both calming and a little mysterious. But don't expect to see it easily. Even expert birders can go years without spotting one. It's there, just perfectly hidden. Fun fact, the cranal shy with 39D's ignal, me Trogan watching glebe to setting. The Philippine Trogan is one of the few birds in the Philippines that nests in tree cavities. But it doesn't just find a hole. It carves one, using its bill to dig into soft, rotting wood. Basically, it's a tropical woodpecker. In disguise. It looks like a dove, until it doesn't. Tucked deep in the cloud forests of Luzon, where the fog rolls like waves through the trees, a burst of color flashes between the branches, then vanishes. You didn't just imagine it. That was the flame-breasted fruit dove, and it's exactly what it sounds like. This dove is small, shy, and completely silent. But when it turns to face you, you'll see it. A brilliant patch of burning orange-red on its chest, like someone painted a flame right over its heart. The rest of its body is cloaked in velvety green, with hints of purple and yellow. It's not flashy like a parrot, it's more like a perfectly ripe mango, with wings. And unlike most doves you might know, this one doesn't peck at crumbs or hang out on telephone wires. It lives high in the dense montane forests of northern Luzon, feeding almost exclusively on fruit, especially figs. Its strong, curved bill is built for plucking, and it plays a crucial role in spreading seeds across the forest. But despite its glowing colors, it's incredibly hard to find. Why? Because the forest it calls home is shrinking fast. Logging, farming, and mining have pushed this species into steeper, more remote areas. places few people ever go. Fun fact, the flame-breasted fruit dove is so rare, for many years, scientists only knew it from a handful of museum specimens. Seeing one in the wild? That's like spotting a ruby in the rainforest. It looks like a cartoon, but it's real, and it's vanishing. Big head, huge, flat bill, bright red skin flapping on its face. At first glance, the Waddled Broadbill looks, well, made up. But this rare bird is very real. Over one found only in the Philippines. There are actually two species in the genus, one on Mindanao, one on Luzon. Both are incredibly rare, incredibly weird, and incredibly wonderful. The Waddled Broadbill is about the size of a robin, but its proportions are all wrong. Its head is massive, its wings are tiny, and its tail, barely there. It almost seems like evolution got lazy halfway through, or was having fun. But there's genius in that weirdness. Its huge, wide bill is perfect for catching insects midair or snatching them off leaves. It sits quietly on a branch, almost cartoonishly still, then springs forward in a single silent lunge, precision hunter. No noise, no mess. The most bizarre detail? The red wattles, little flaps of bare skin around the face. No one knows exactly what they're for. Maybe mating, maybe intimidation, maybe just good jungle fashion. Sadly, all this weirdness is under threat. The Waddled Broadbill's forest habitat is being wiped out fast. And even experienced researchers can go years without spotting one. It's a ghost with feathers and flair. Fun fact, when it moves, it does so with such stillness between hops that some locals believe it's not a bird at all, but a spirit in disguise. It looks like a wisp of sky with wings, fitting for a bird named after the heavens. In a quiet corner of the forest, where sunbeams trickle through the leaves and vines sway in the breeze, a small shape flutters into view, so blue it seems unreal. This is the celestial monarch, a bird that looks like it was plucked straight out of a dream. Found only in the Philippines, this monarch is a delicate balance of elegance and wildness. The male is draped in a stunning shade of sky blue, with a black crown and nape like a royal helmet. Its feathers shimmer when the light hits just right, as if it's made of sunlight and air. But the real showstopper? That graceful, ribbon-like tail, two feathers that flow behind it as it moves, almost like a comet streaking through the canopy. Despite its beauty, the celestial monarch is hard to find. It prefers dense, undisturbed forests, usually at mid to upper canopy levels, and it's highly sensitive to habitat loss. It's also a team player, often seen joining mixed species flocks. Think of it as the cool, quiet one in a group of rowdy cousins. It doesn't call much, it doesn't show off. It just floats through the trees like a forest spirit. Fun fact, the name celestial isn't just poetic. The bird's scientific name, colestis, literally means of the sky in Latin, fitting for a creature that looks more like a wisp of cloud than a real feathered animal. Not an owl, not a branch, not what you expect. You walk through the forest at night, your flashlight barely cutting through the shadows. Suddenly you see it, a lump on a branch, not moving, just sitting there, like a knot in the wood. But then its eyes open. This is the Philippine frogmouth, a master of camouflage and one of the jungle's most convincing illusions. Despite the owl-like stare and round head, this bird isn't an owl. It belongs to a family all its own, the frogmouths, named for their wide, gaping mouths that look, well, like a frog. It's found only in the Philippines, mostly in lowland and mid-elevation forests across islands like Luzon, Samar, and Mindanao. And it's strictly nocturnal. During the day, it perches motionless, pretending to be a broken branch. At night, it comes to life, swooping low to catch insects in the air or plucking them off leaves in total silence. Its plumage is a patchwork of gray, brown, and rufous, perfectly tuned to bark, leaves, and moonlight. Its huge eyes reflect like silver in torchlight, giving it a ghostly stare that unnerves even seasoned birders. But you almost never see two at once. Frogmouths are solitary, silent, and almost invisible unless you know exactly what you're looking for. Fun fact: when a Philippine frogmouth feels threatened, it doesn't fly, it goes full statue mode, stretching its neck and aiming its beak upward to mimic a broken stick. It's so convincing, some people have taken photos of it and still didn't realize it was a bird. It's tiny, it's round, it's got angry eyebrows, and it only lives in one place. Some owls haunt vast forests, some rule the night skies. This one, it could probably fit in your hand, and it prefers to keep things quiet. Meet the Mindoro scops owl, a pint-sized predator that lives only on the island of Mindoro in the Philippines. It's what scientists call an island endemic. Nowhere else on Earth, not even nearby islands, just here. It stands just 6 to 7 inches tall, with rich brown feathers, bold streaks on its chest, and those classic scops owl ear tufts that look like permanent angry eyebrows. It's nocturnal like most owls, but unlike its bigger cousins, it doesn't soar silently over fields. It hops and glides between branches in thick forests, scanning for insects, spiders, and small frogs on the forest floor. You might hear its call before you see it, a soft, rising whoop that sounds like a question echoing from the undergrowth. But spotting one? That's another matter. The Mindoro scops owl is critically endangered, mainly because its forest is disappearing fast. Mindoro's lowland forests have been heavily logged, and this owl's home is now fragmented and shrinking. Fun fact: when threatened, this tiny owl will sometimes puff up its feathers and freeze, trying to look big and fierce, but honestly, it just ends up looking like an angry pom-pom with eyes. Cute, rare, fierce, in its own tiny way. It doesn't sing, it haunts. When the sun sets over the forests of the Philippines, and the last flashes of color fade from the canopy, a different kind of bird begins its shift. You won't see it. You might not even realize it's there. But then you hear it. A low, vibrating call, like a distant engine rumbling underwater. That's the Philippine nightjar, a bird so secretive, most people who've encountered it never actually saw it. Part of a group known as goatsuckers, we'll explain in a second. This bird is built for nighttime stealth. It has mottled brown and gray plumage, a body shaped like a fallen leaf, and eyes that reflect like coins when caught in torchlight. During the day, it sleeps on the ground or low branches, completely motionless, blending so perfectly into leaves and bark that even predators walk right past it. At night, it comes alive, gliding silently above open areas to hunt flying insects, using its wide, gaping mouth to scoop them right out of the air. Think bat, but with feathers. And about that weird nickname, goatsucker, it comes from ancient myths where nightjars were blamed for sneaking into farms and sucking milk from goats. Totally false, but hey, good branding. Fun fact: the Philippine nightjar's call is so strange and low-pitched, it's often mistaken for frogs, machinery, or even ghosts. In fact, some rural communities believe its sound is a forest spirit warning you to stay away. If a swallow became a ballerina, this would be it. Some birds command attention. Others simply glide through the world, quietly stealing hearts with their grace. Meet the whiskered tree swift, a sleek, elegant bird with streamlined wings, a long tail, and a flight style so smooth, it looks like it's dancing through the trees. Found in lowland and hill forests across Southeast Asia, this tree swift is especially common in Palawan and other Philippine islands, often spotted flying just below the canopy, catching insects mid-air with astonishing precision. It's small, about 6 to 7 inches long, but every detail is sculpted for flight. Its wings are long and sickle-shaped, its tail flows behind it like a ribbon, and its face? Sharp black eyes framed by long white whiskers of feathers that make it look both wise and whimsical. Unlike true swifts, tree swifts perch, often motionless for long stretches. They'll sit on a branch, tail cocked upward, just waiting for the next flyby snack. And here's the best part. They build their nests right on tiny exposed twigs, so small it looks like a leaf fell and got stuck. The egg is glued on with saliva, and somehow it all holds. Fun fact, the male and female take turns balancing on the same flimsy twig to incubate the egg. They literally have to sit perfectly still, or the whole thing might fall apart. Teamwork, trust, and a lot of balance. It honks like a clown car, but flies like a jungle tank. High in the treetops of Mindanao's last old-growth forests, a shadow sweeps through the leaves, followed by the unmistakable sound of beating wings. Woof, 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 like a helicopter made of feathers. Then comes the call, hawk, like a goose, but louder, wilder, and just a little unhinged. This is the Mindanao Hornbill, one of the Philippines' most charismatic and strange jungle birds. It's part of the Hornbill family, known for their oversized, down-curved bills and loud personalities. The male Mindanao Hornbill sports a massive yellow and black beak topped with a bony helmet called a casque, which acts like a built-in megaphone for its calls. Its body is mostly black, with a white belly and tail, and piercing pale blue skin around the eyes. But it's not here to win a beauty contest. It's here to own the canopy. Hornbills are frugivores, fruit lovers, but they also eat insects, small reptiles, and even bird eggs. And they play a critical role in seed dispersal, flying long distances and planting forests one poop at a time. But their most bizarre behavior? How they raise their young. Fun fact, the female hornbill seals herself inside a tree cavity using mud, fruit pulp, and poop, leaving only a narrow slit. The male feeds her and the chick through that slit for weeks until she breaks out. So yeah, this bird has a built-in panic room. And honestly, that's kind of genius. In the forest, it's not just a bird. It's a voice, a presence, a warning. When the forest falls silent and the air feels heavy with stories that haven't been told, a deep, echoing call breaks through the trees. Hoke, 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 hoke. Powerful, repetitive, almost ritualistic. That's not a drum. That's the Rufus Hornbill, known to many locals as Kalaya, the soul of the forest. This giant of the treetops is one of the largest hornbills in the Philippines, reaching up to 30 inches long with a massive red-orange bill and casque, deep rufus-brown plumage, and wings that thunder when it takes off. But what really sets it apart is its presence. When a Rufus Hornbill calls, the forest stops to listen. It's found on several Philippine islands, including Luzon, Samar, and Mindanao, in mature lowland forests, which, sadly, are disappearing fast. It eats mostly fruit, but like its Mindanao cousin, it's also opportunistic. Insects, lizards, small birds, nothing is off the menu. But in many indigenous beliefs, this bird is more than an animal. It's a messenger. Its call is said to warn of danger, announce visitors, or even signal a death. Fun fact, the Rufus Hornbill's casque is not solid. It's actually hollow, like a built-in echo chamber. That's what makes its calls so deep and resonant, able to carry over half a mile through dense jungle. So when this bird speaks, you don't just hear it, you feel it. It's called the fairy pita, and for good reason. In the heart of spring migration, when the skies above Luzon begin to shimmer with movement, a flicker of impossible color flashes through the jungle. Red, blue, green, gold, all in one blur of feathers. This is the fairy pita, a bird so stunning it looks like it escaped from a stained glass window. It's not a permanent resident of the Philippines, more of a seasonal guest. It breeds in parts of East Asia, China, Korea, Japan, and in its long journey south, It passes through islands like Luzon and Palawan, resting briefly in dense forest undergrowth before continuing on toward Borneo or beyond. But don't let the name fairy fool you. This bird isn't dainty, it's tough. Despite being only about 7 inches long, the fairy pita travels thousands of miles every year. And it doesn't just fly high and fast, it weaves through weather, predators, and disappearing habitats just to find a quiet patch of forest floor. There, it forages for beetles, worms, snails, hopping with surprising agility, its rainbow plumage glowing even in the dimmest light. But spotting one? That takes timing, luck, and silence, because as soon as it's rested, it vanishes again. Fun fact, the fairy pita is nicknamed the jewel of the forest in multiple languages, and in some Japanese folklore, it's said that seeing one brings unexpected fortune. Lucky for you, this video counts. Not the loudest, not the largest, but maybe the most important. High in the canopy of Luzon's vanishing forests, a gentle figure moves between branches, wings flapping in slow, measured beats. Woof, woof, woof. This is the Luzon hornbill, a bird that may not roar like its rufous cousin, but still holds deep power in the story of Philippine wildlife. It's not huge, around 20 inches long, with creamy white underparts, dark wings, and that signature pale bill and casque that gives hornbills their unmistakable profile. Its eyes are surrounded by bare bluish skin, framed like a mask, making it look both noble and oddly expressive. But what truly sets this bird apart is that it lives nowhere else on Earth. Not on Samar, not on Mindanao, only Luzon, and it's running out of space. Once common across northern forests, the Luzon hornbill has seen its habitat shrink dramatically due to logging, agriculture, and human settlement. Now it survives mainly in protected areas, often in small, fragmented populations. Yet it continues its ancient rhythm, nesting in tree cavities, pairing for life, playing its vital role in the ecosystem by spreading seeds through the jungle with every fruit it eats. You might hear its call, a low, resonant talk, 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 like a wooden drum in the distance. It's not flashy, not dramatic, but it's essential. Because if this bird disappears, it's not just the loss of a species, it's the loss of Luzon's forest identity, of a living connection between land, bird, and culture. Fun fact, local legends say that hornbills mate for life, and if one partner dies, the other may refuse to take another. True love, with feathers. If you've made it this far, you're already part of the small group that knows just how magical these forests truly are. So here's your gentle call to action. Tell us which bird surprised you the most. Drop it in the comments, we love reading your thoughts. Like the video if you learned something new, and share it with someone who still thinks hornbills only live in Africa. Because the forests of the Philippines, they're still full of spirits if you know where to look. Thanks for watching, and keep listening to the trees.